Hi business owners, it's Claire from Clara, and today we're going to be talking about how to get organized. So if you have promised yourself that next financial year is the one you'll be more organized, you need to start taking action, you guessed it, sooner. Now is the best time to start. And now's the best time before the new financial year kicks in because it's going to take time to figure out this organization. So rather than feeling like we're behind, what you can do is take action now and start the new financial year, 2021-2022, organization ready. What we're going to do over the next few videos, the next few weeks, is look at the different areas of finances where you probably would benefit from some organization and how you can do that well. But firstly, today, I'd like to talk about why organization is important and the fundamentals of organizing pretty much anything, including finances. So without organization, the emotion that often comes up is a feeling of being overwhelmed. And I've talked previously about the cycle in finance in particular, about you start finance, you're overwhelmed with all the things you need to learn and to do and to get a handle on and to manage, and then quickly those transactions start to build, the receipts start to build, the paperwork starts to build, and you become out of date. So if you want to learn more about that cycle of overwhelm and out of date, I will link separately to the video where you can go and watch that. The other emotions that come up when we're disorganized include things like frustration and stress. So we're not able to find something that makes us frustrated, and then we start to worry about missing something, which causes us stress. So perfect example of that is receipts. You're frustrated you can't find it, and you're going to be stressed that you're missing out on the deduction. So finance is a difficult enough topic for most business owners, so we're going to use some simple organization to help us remove some of that overwhelm, frustration and stress, and also probably going to help to keep your finances up to date as well. So how do we get organized? So firstly, for me, we need to discover. We need to figure out exactly what needs to be organized. And there are a few different elements that we can tackle. So there's things would include receipts, paperwork, and even email. So it's like an object, literal, physical, or digital. Then there's things like tasks. That's a separate category. So you're doing, the time activities, bookkeeping, chasing invoices, paying bills, that sort of thing. And then also there's a tracking aspect. So we're keeping tabs on where we're up to, and also how we deal with those things and how we deal with those tasks. So we're not trying to remember everything, because that is generally a recipe for disaster. What this first stage of discover does is helps us to figure out everything. And if we write it down, we can often just start to move into that problem solving, reducing the overwhelm, and really seeing what it is we need to organize, because what we think we need to organize and what we really need to organize or do often are slightly different. We then move into stage number 2, which I've termed decide. So once we know those things, we can start problem solving and planning. We can basically see or find out the how we're going to do this, the different ways we could achieve the goal of being more organized. And essentially in here, we need to create a system or a process for each. We need one for each of the different things, receipts, paperwork, etc., for each of the different tasks. And what that process, what we create, depends on is what we're dealing with. So when we're talking things, we often need a place to store them. We might need to digitize them, we might need to back them up. Whereas that's probably not going to happen when we talk about tasks. We don't need to digitize a task. A task may be to digitize, but that's slightly different. So when we're talking about tasks, generally it's just we need to allocate time and we need to understand what needs to happen or how we go about that. And then when we talk about tracking, what we're doing with tracking is see what progress we've made and what progress we still need to make. So in this stage, the decide phase, we actually research the different options. So should you store your receipts in paper, in your bookkeeping software, in a receipt processor, or on cloud storage, or a combination of those? We need to discover what's best for us and then decide and pick a thing. Now, it's essential here for me to say try not to overcomplicate things because it's very tempting. But often the simpler something is, the more likely it is to happen. It's very tempting to think about how could I automate this? How can I streamline this? But unless repeating that task is taking up hours of your time, the simpler it is, the more likely you are to do it. Once we have figured out what we need to organise and decided how we're going to organise it, you can guess what last step is. We need to do it. This is where the rubber meets the road. Once you know what and when, you need to start, well, organising. Put the system or process into place and get started. Now, my number one tip here really is to keep it as small as possible because it is super easy to sort out 3 receipts. How hard could it be to chase 1 overdue invoice or pay 2 bills? Really, really easy, really achievable, really manageable. The trap when it comes to this is letting that volume or quantity build. So 15 receipts, 5 overdue invoices, 8 bills to pay starts to feel overwhelming. It takes away time from things you could or should be doing for more productive things, and then it ends up avoided. So you need to do. There's always an aspect of do when it comes to taking action in your business, and that's what you need to get really good at as well. So let's work through a quick example, and I'm going to use emails because we're going to deal with finance ones in the coming weeks. So let's talk about emails. How much time have you spent in the last week scrolling or searching your inbox looking for that particular email? If your answer is too long, let's run through a quick example of how you organize it. So Discover is fairly straightforward here. What needs to be organized? An overflowing email inbox. Then we move into Decide. So there's a few different aspects generally in Decide. So what options do we have? In an email, we could use labels, we can use folders, we can use flags, we can use like follow-ups, you can set deadlines sometimes. Then we're probably also going to decide how we want to sort it. So you can do like by date, you could do by sender, you could do by subject, that sort of thing. Ways we can make it easy. This is the other thing that we can decide. We can use things like unsubscribing. Do I really need to receive this email? We can use rules in our emails, automatically applying things as read when you've just been CC'd, applying color coding to emails from particular senders, or just skipping your inbox and moving it straight to a folder, which is great for subscriptions you might want to read if you have time. So then we move to do, and I'll share with you my personal do when it comes to email. So I use folders and color coding. So when an email from me no longer needs an action or never needed an action, it goes into an appropriate folder. This means that the emails in my inbox are the ones that need me to do something. Even if that's just read it, they need an action from me. Everything that's dealt with has been filed away. I use color coding because multiple email accounts come into my mail app, so I can quickly scan the colors to see which client or which part of my business it relates to. And to tell you, I went and checked. There are 19 emails in my inbox this morning. Not stressful, not overwhelming, and not frustrating. And I know pretty much everything in there is waiting for me to do something. So if you need more organization in your life, generally going to show up as if you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe you're losing papers, you're not knowing where certain things are. I'd suggest that's a sign you maybe need a little bit more organization. And if you'd like my help organizing your finances, please, as ever, get in touch for a free chat. If this video has been useful, I'd love you to give it a thumbs up or comment and let me know what you need to organize. You can always get in touch to find out more about making your business finances quicker, easier, and actually work for your business.